life. It could be evening. And today's practice was going to focus a bit on heart opening. We'll also be working with opening our hips a little bit, but thinking about what keeps us from, often if we lift our heart, it actually can help lift our spirits, which is certainly helpful anytime, especially now. The only extra thing you'll want in your practice today is a chair. It can be a folding chair, or it can be just a chair that you can easily sit in and move around, not a big chair, a little chair. All right, and so I wanted to begin today. You'll notice that, I think you'll notice that there's a dog with us. He's a little dark fellow down here, but his name is Gordy, if you haven't met him before. He has a very serious practice. So Amy Weintraub, who's written about yoga and depression, among other things, she brings to mind what we might want to think about while we practice. So here's a quote from her book. She says, "Practice makes anything stronger. Don't practice what you don't want. If you don't want strain, tension, grim determination, pride, comparing, self-judgment, harshness, rigidity in your life, don't practice asanas with these qualities. Practice what you want for yourself and what you want to pass on to others." So as we begin our practice today, I'm going to ask that you set an intention in terms of what you hope to practice and not only take away for yourself, but be able to share with others. So we'll begin with your left leg in front and build the practice already. So place your fingertips behind you, press down into your blankets or the mat, and lift from the pubic bone up across the heart. And notice when your elbows are facing back, what's happening with your collarbones. They tend to open up nicely. So let's keep that openness as you bring your hands to your thighs. And just let your head balance on top of your head, on top of your neck. So don't strain it in any way. And then bring your eyes to closing. And let's bring our hands together at our heart. And in gratitude for the chance to have a yoga practice and to be together virtually while we can't be together physically, let's begin our practice with 3 Oms together. So take a nice breath. Now, reach your arms out and turning the palms down, sort of notice what's happening with your chest. Now turn the palms up and see how that brings your shoulder blades in toward your cardiac spine, which is right in front of your heart. A very important member of your physical yoga family, all right? So now inhale, lift, reach up. Allow the fingertips reaching up to lengthen your spine, and don't push out your ribs, just keep them in toward your spine, and then exhale back down. So on an inhale, try to match the peak of the lift in Urdhva Hastasana to the peak of your inhale, and the same for the exhale. So arms out, pinkies up, shoulder blades in toward the spine, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And now inhale, lift up from the front this time. Exhale, turn to your left. Hold the outer knee. Inhale, lift the back arm up, and exhale, stretch over. Reach over. Lengthen over. Now inhale, turn the chest any amount toward the ceiling. On exhale, just lengthen over. Inhale, lift and cross the arms. Now, On exhale, scoop the belly in under the ribs, round the upper back. And then inhale, lift up. Reach up as if you're taking off a t-shirt and exhale back down. And now we're going to stretch out over your right leg. So reach the left arm forward, bend the right elbow. It helps open up your hips, you'll feel that. And then inhale, lift up. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn to your left. Hold the outer knee. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, stretch over. Lengthen over. Inhale, lift and turn. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, lift and cross the arms. Exhale, scoop the belly in under the ribs. Now inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, return. And then reach out over your right knee. And come on back upright. Now reach your legs out. Wide as the mat. Keep the upper body lifted. And then reach the heart forward, stretching forward. You'll feel a nice stretch on the back of your hamstrings. Warming up is so important. We're warming up the spine and trying to get it to move in all the ways it can move. Now let's cross our right leg in front this time. So encourage the lift of the front body, roll the shoulders back and down, arms out, inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn to your other side. Inhale, lift the back arm up and exhale over. Inhale, lift and turn any amount. Exhale over. Inhale, lift and cross. Scoop the belly in under the ribs. Then inhale, lift up. Exhale. And now we're going to reach out over our left leg. So bend the left arm, reach the right arm forward. And then inhale, lift up. And we're going to reach up again. Turn to your right. Lift the back arm up and exhale over. Inhale, lift and turn. Exhale, extend. Inhale, lift and cross the arms. Exhale, scoop the belly in under the ribs. Now inhale, lift up, reach up, and exhale. And now reach up over your right knee. And come on back upright. Reach your legs out to the outer edges of the mat. Hands at the hip crease and lift the heart and reach it forward. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting. And reaching, reaching, reaching. And now come on back upright. And we're going to do Supta Padangusthasana 1 and 2. So we're going to lie down on the floor. And we're also going to do a little ab work. If you have a block with you, or something like, could be even a fat pillow that's adds a little resistance, or a big book. Right. So we're going to use that in the second prone exercise. So we're going to lie down. Let's see, I think I will have to, let me adjust the camera so you can see. And have a belt. It can just be something that you can hold around your foot. In Supta Padangusthasana. So we're lying down and have the belt. It can be just a leather belt. All right, and bend your right leg. Place the belt just above your heel. Right. Now extend the lower leg. Extend your left leg and bring the toes up toward your chest any amount. Reach the heel away and do the same with the extended upper foot. Right. And in this position, the important thing is to keep the legs straight. So we're lifting the kneecap. This whole leg is in Tadasana, as is the lower leg. But if you can't straighten your leg, it's perfectly fine if this is what's available for you to keep your legs straight. So wherever your leg is, have it be straight. Hold the outer edges of the belt and then slide the shoulders down toward the floor. So the back is just in a natural position. And then lower the leg down. And while it's down there, you can switch the belt to the other foot. All right, now extend both legs strongly and lift the left leg up this time. Reach up on the belt, draw the shoulders back down, extend up through the heel, bring the toes back toward the face and both legs. This is a nice warm-up for your hamstrings, so be mindful. And then lower that down. Switch to the other leg. And then lift it up. Reach up. Now drop the shoulders down. Extend the lower leg. Now switch the belt to the left hand. Use your right hand just at the hip crease and push that hip crease away from you any amount to lengthen the side waist. So use the muscles of your leg to do that also. And then lower down using the strength of your lower abs to control the lowering, and then switch the other leg. Now lift up, reach up with both sides of the heels and both legs. Lift the toes toward the face, any amount. Heels reaching toward the ceiling, drop the shoulders down. Now switch the belt to the right hand. Place the heel of the left hand on the outer left hip and move it away from you. Now try to keep it there with whatever action you need to engage in. And then lower down. Switch the belt to the other foot. Right, now we're going to do an external rotation, but first lift it up just as you did before. Engage both legs. Now switch to the right hand, turn the toes away from you, the heel in the opposite direction, and lower it down, but only as low as it can go without disturbing the opposite hip. So both hips are where they began. So you might even want to put your left hand on your left hip bone and make sure it stays down there. So lifting the inner thigh up toward your armpit, lengthening that right outer hip down away from you, and then lift that back up, and just gently stretch it across the body. Let the right hip come up off the floor, just a gentle stretch. And then come on back up, lower the leg down, and we're going to switch to the left leg. I'll lift that leg up, reach up on the belt, lower the shoulders down toward the floor. Both legs into Tadasana, lengthen that outer hip down away from you. Now turn the toes out, heel in, and lower that leg down, keeping your right hand on your right hip bone. Keeping the hips level. Now lift the inner thigh up toward your armpit and drop the left outer hip down away from the armpit. So it's an external rotation. Anustasana is highly recommended for hip health. Now lift the leg up and lower it down. And switch to the other leg, so lifting that up, hold on to the belt, slide the shoulders down toward the floor and shift it to this right hand, toes out, left thigh stays put and lower down. Now lift the inner
right thigh up towards your armpit, outer hip down, away from the armpit. And then lift back up. And always check in and make sure you're having some nice breathing going on. It's very helpful. Okay, and then lift that left leg up one last time. Supta Padangusthasana 2. Turn the leg out, lower it down. Lift that inner thigh up and try to move the outer hip down toward the other foot. And then lift it back up. And we forgot to stretch on the other side, but just give this side a little stretch across the hip. Let the left hip come off the floor. And then return it to the floor. And then you can remove your belt and find whatever you use against a block. You're going to bend both knees. You're staying on the floor. So put the block between your upper thighs. All right. Now, squeeze the block and lift the lower abs to flatten your lower back toward the floor. You shouldn't be able to sneak much of your hand under there, hopefully. All right. Now, squeezing the block, lift the right leg up, but only so that the knee is at the same level as the other, not going beyond. And squeezing the block, keep the lower back on the floor, lift the other leg. Now lower the right leg, lower the left leg, and relax the belly. So now the back can come up off the floor. All right. And now squeeze the block, lift the lower abs up, flatten the back to the floor. Now lift the left leg, lift the right leg, keep the back on the floor, lower the left leg, lower the right leg, and relax. Right now, if you're happy with that, stay there. But if you would like to add a little more, lift the upper body. Okay, lower back is on the flatten to the floor. Squeeze the block and lift the right leg. Stay there, lift the left leg. Now move over to the right. Move back to the middle. Move over to the left. Move back to the middle. Lower the left leg. Lower the right leg. Lower the upper body. And take a breath. It is good to try to breathe even during this ab work. So lift the upper body. Let's flatten the back. Now lift the upper body. Squeezing the block. Lift the left leg. Reach it straight out, Tadasana. Reach the right leg out in Tadasana. Now move the upper body to the left. Move the upper body toward the middle. And to the right. And back to the middle. Lower the left leg. Lower the right leg. Lower the upper body. Have a breath. We'll do that one more time. Flatten the back. Lift the upper body, or you might just be working with your legs. Okay, squeezing the block. Lift your right leg. Lift the left leg. Move to the right with the body. Move to the middle with your arms. Move to the left. Move to the middle. Lower the left leg. Lower the right leg. Aha. Move the block. Now straighten your legs out. Let the natural curve come back to the spine. Reach your arms up toward the ceiling and now reach them up over the head in Urdhva Hastasana. Reach the inner heels out. Enjoy a nice lengthening of all the abdominal muscles you've just been contracting. And then lift the arms back up and bend the knees. And we'll roll over to all fours. Excuse me, Gordy. We're going to come into tabletop position and get ready for downward facing dog. Sorry, wardrobe malfunction here. All right, so in downward dog,
we're going to have that same action we were thinking about. What helps us open our chest? So in down dog, we're going to try to roll the inner arms forward and see how that affects the room we've made in our chest. So come to all fours. For starters, curl the toes under near the outer edge of the mat. Move your hands near the outer edge of the mat so that the pinky and ring fingers splay over slightly. Press down into the mat and lift the lower abs. Inhale and exhale up to bent knees first. Now grow the pose by stretching up through the wrists, through the elbows, through the shoulders, back through the waist. Come up on your toes and then lower the heels down toward the mat. Right, now see where your arms are. You're not going to be able to move the inner arms totally forward, but they might be facing, the inner elbows might be facing each other, and that's opening the heart and drawing the shoulders, shoulder blades back into the spine. Now walk the hands and the feet together and lift up to Ardha Uttanasana. Use your shins. Now same idea, roll the shoulder blades in toward the cardiac spine. Press down with all four corners of the feet, move the toes forward, press the heels down, crown of the head reaches forward, and now fold over to Uttanasana. Just let upper body relax. The legs are in Tadasana. They're still active. Now place the hands and step the right leg back, step the left leg back, and stretch back into downward facing dog. Lengthening out. Feel a line of energy from the pinky through the elbow, out through the shoulders, the armpits, and up through the hips. And then walk the hands and the feet together. Lift up to Ardha Uttanasana. If you can keep your shoulder blades in toward the spine and still be on the floor, fine, but the shins are very useful. And that nice moving of the shoulders back away from the ears. Open the chest. And then folding over in Uttanasana. Now bend the knees, look forward, sweep the arms up to Utkatasana. And then press all the way up, reach up, and exhale back down. All right, so let's do some standing poses, starting with Tadasana. And it's always helpful to build Tadasana. So find the middle of your mat. Okay, now just stand in a relaxed pose. All right, place your hands on top of your quadriceps, your thighs. Now press all four corners of the feet down as if you're really kind of a tree growing your roots into the earth. And see how that lifts the quads. Now think about even lifting your kneecaps up. All right. Now don't poke the hips out, so make sure that the hips maybe are even, by moving the inner thighs back, you can see if the hip bones are going to move back slightly. All right, now just lower your hands. Now lift the shoulders up toward the ears. Roll them back away from your chest, and then just let them come to a nice openness of the chest. All right, and then inhale, lift the arms up, reach up, and then exhale back down. Now lift the arms up. See what's your chest is feeling like. All right, now bend the elbows and move the elbows slightly forward, and see how that brings your shoulder blades onto your spine a little more and opens your collarbones. We're going to be using that same action in some of our poses this morning. Okay, so let's step our feet wide apart. All right. Now turn the back foot in, the front foot out entirely. And we're going to move into Virabhadrasana 2. So bend the front knee toward a right angle. All right, now press out through the outer edge of the back foot. Reach the front toes forward and press into the front heel. Now move those elbows, bend the elbows, move the elbows toward me, keep it there, and then stretch them out and look out. This is a nice time to reconnect to your intention. So you might be reaching toward that intention now, in whatever way it came to you. And then look forward, straighten the front leg, micro bend the toes and feet forward. All right, let's turn the back foot in, front foot out entirely. Lifting the front body, lift the arms. Now use the arms to help you open that chest. They're moving the sternum muscles away, the chest muscles away from each other. Bend the front leg. And so you have to actively reach those fingers out in order to engage the muscles. All right, now move the sitting bone of the front leg toward me. Reach the toes forward, press the heel down and reach out to the outer edge of the back foot. And now look over your front arm. And then bend the front leg and return to the feet being parallel with the sides of the mat. Okay, we'll do that one more time. Back foot in, front foot out. Lift up. Now make sure that this back hip hasn't rolled forward. Hold on to that hip bone and pull it back. So you're kind of moving the inner knees away from each other. Press out through the outer edge of the back foot. That'll help also. Reach strongly through both hands. Bend the front knee to Virabhadrasana 2. Now lift up on the front heel and see if you can move the hips any more toward the floor and then lower the heel. And then look out. Maintaining the integrity of the pose. And then straighten the front leg, micro bend the foot, feet forward. And now turn the back foot in, micro bend the front knee, front leg out entirely. Lift the front body, organize the hips. All right, reach out to the outer edge of the back foot and bend the front knee into a right angle. Same idea, lift the toe, lift the heel, lower the hips any amount more. Make sure this front knee, the bent knee, is stacked up over the ankle. All right. And then let's look over our front arm. Straighten the front leg, look forward, micro bend the foot, turn the feet parallel, and step together. All right, so now let's do Trikonasana, all right? So have your feet in the middle of the mat, hands at the heart, step the feet wide apart, all right? And make sure, now she tells me, have your blocks, if you use blocks, behind you and have them near your shin. Now, if you don't use blocks, your ankle will be just fine, or your shin. So turn the back foot in, front foot out, arms up, and then move the hips back away from the front arm and the front foot, and reach into Trikonasana. So find your block support, lower the top arm. Now you can also use any part of your leg. All right, now let's organize our shoulders first. So draw this top shoulder back toward an imaginary wall. And at the same time, you notice your ribs open up and turn slightly toward the ceiling. All right. Now lift the top arm up. And there should be a nice line of energy from the bottom hand through the top arm. And if it's comfortable for your practice, you can look up at your top arm. And then look forward, lift to the top arm. Micro bend the front leg and feet forward. And now turn the back foot in, front foot out. All right, and if you're using a block, you can switch the block over. All right, arms up. Once again, Expand the chest using the fingers reaching away from each other. Right. Now move the hips back, lifting both legs into Tadasana action. And find your support. Top arm down to organize the chest. All right, so we're drawing this top shoulder back to an imaginary wall. At the same time, think about moving this front hip back and lengthening from the bottom, from the hip to the armpit. Try to equalize both sides of the waist. Turn the heart any amount up toward the ceiling as you lift the top arm up. And looking up, the back of the head should be in line with the tailbone. And then look forward, lift on up, micro bend the front leg, and feet together. Now turn the back foot in, front foot out. And we'll do the same on this side. Arms up. And now reach, reach, reach. Trikonasana. And then lift at the top arm. Micro bend the feet. Move your block if you don't have to. Turn the back foot in, front foot out entirely. Bending the knee always to protect the knee joint. Reach, 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 and reach into Trikonasana. Be in Trikonasana. And now lift through the top arm, micro bend the front leg, feet forward, and step together. All right, so now we're going to do some forward bending. So have whatever you're using for your blocks handy. And we're also going to have a chair nearby. All right. So to begin with, we're going to do Parsvottanasana. All right. So standing in the middle of your mat, have the blocks so that you can have them fairly near your feet. We're going to stand near the blocks actually. The blocks are maybe a foot away from the front of your mat. It's not that significant. You can move them. All right, so from Tadasana, step your right leg back. It might be your left leg, I guess, if you're mirroring me. All right, so then once again, elbows back, moving the shoulder blades in toward the cardiac spine. Lift the front body, lift, 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 and look at where the ceiling and the wall meet. And now reach the heart forward as you reach out to the outer edge of your back left foot. Come to your blocks, and they should be right under your shoulders. All right, so now we're having our upper body parallel with the floor. Move this front hip back any amount. And if we had a glass, we could maybe sit it right here, and this would be fairly flat. How do we do that? We draw the front hip back, the back hip comes slightly forward. And now, move the blocks forward. You can keep them up high, or you can move them down low if that feels good. You can even come off your blocks, but keep the shoulder blades moving in toward the spine. So we're not folding at this point. And now move the blocks back under your shoulders. And then bring your hands to your waist, reach out to the outer edge of the back foot, elbows back, and lift on up. Micro bend the front foot and step forward. All right, we're going to step back with our right leg now, with the other leg. Draw the front hip back and the back hip forward. All right, hands at the waist, lift the lower abs in and up as you lift the heart and look at the ceiling and the wall meeting. And then reach the heart forward. Reach out to the outer edge of the back foot, the big toe mound of the front foot, and come to parallel with the floor. Same idea of drawing the top of the shoulders back away from the ears. So we're opening the collarbones. And now move the blocks forward to your level of, this should feel good and not overstretch the hamstrings. So you're not looking for any violence. We're keeping the heart lifted, shoulder blades into the spine. And now move the blocks back, the foot. All right, organize the hips. All right, bring your hands to the waist and then stand on up. You can always micro bend the front knee if that puts any pressure on your knee. Step forward. All right, step the left foot back. Organize your hips. Back hip forward, front hip back. Hands at the waist. Now lift up, reach up. You can reach any amount now. Shoulder blades in to support the heart. Now reach the heart forward. Come to your blocks. Reorganize the hips if they've gotten out of line. And now reach the blocks forward. If you want, you can come off the blocks and then just fold over any amount, bringing the ribs toward the front thigh. To come out of the pose, bring the blocks back by your ankles. Extend the spine, micro bend the front knee, hands on the waist, and stand on up. And then step forward. And step the other foot back. Organize the hips. Hands at the waist. Right. Reach through the big toe mound of the front foot, the outer edge of the back foot. Lift from the pubic bone up over the heart as you draw those shoulders blades in toward the cardiac spine. And now reach the heart forward. Reach, reach, reach. Hips are moving back. And now reach the blocks forward. Lengthen forward. Lengthen the heart forward. Use the arms reaching forward to help you. And then come on down any amount toward the ribs. Now can laminate themselves to your upper thigh. Come out of the pose, move the blocks back. Micro bend the front knee, hands on the waist, and lift on up. And step together. All right, so now let's continue with Virabhadrasana 1. All right, and let's go ahead, since you have a chair, let's go ahead and use the chair. All right, so I have the chair sort of where you're going to be able to reach it. So start near the chair, the back of the chair, and the seat of the chair can be away from you. All right, so have your fingertips on the back of the chair, all right, and step your left leg back. Okay, now the same thing we've been doing is organizing the hips. So the front hip bone comes forward, the back hip goes back. All right, hands on the waist. And bend the front knee toward a right angle. Keep the back leg engaged. Move the inner thigh of the back leg back. Now pressing into the chair, the chair seat, chair back. Press in as you lift the lower abs up. And then continue lifting up. And then look up. Virabhadrasana 1. And then look forward, hands on the chair, and step forward. And now step your right leg back. Okay, let's organize just like we did in Parsvottanasana. So the front hip comes back, and energy goes to the outer edge of the back foot. Move the inner thigh of the back leg back away from the front foot. And bend the front leg to a right angle. All right, shoulder blades are still coming into the spine. Let's release that for just a minute while we press down,
pressing down on the chair as you lift the lower abs consciously up. So let's try that again. It's kind of relaxed now. Now press down to lift up. The tailbone comes strongly in. And then reach all the way up. Reach up and look up if you would like. And then look forward. Hands lower down and step forward. All right, let's do that one more time. Step the left leg back. Organize the hips. Bend the front knee toward a right angle. Keep pressing out through the outer edge of the back foot and move that inner thigh back away from the front body. Pressing down, lift up the lower abs. Keep lifting up, reaching up. Virabhadrasana 1. And then look forward, hands on the chair, step forward. And now step your right leg back. Organize the hips. Bring the front knee to a nice right angle if possible. Pressing down to lift up. Keep lifting up, reaching up. Virabhadrasana 1. And then look forward, hands on the chair, step forward. Okay, so now we're going to invite you to Virabhadrasana 3, and you can do this pose in any way that suits your practice, all right? So I'm going to show you three possibilities, okay? So you can have some blocks. We're going to move into Virabhadrasana 3 from Virabhadrasana 1. So just watch me now, okay? So one way, here's what Virabhadrasana 1, okay? And then we're going to move to Virabhadrasana 3. So one way you can do it is to use the chair seat, shift your weight forward and lift your back leg. You're reaching the leg straight back and the crown of the head reaches forward. So that's one way. All right, here's another way. Without the chair seat, you can use your blocks. Virabhadrasana 1, and then I'll say let's move to Vira 3. Shift your weight forward. The front bent knees start straightening as you lift the back, and I'm using the blocks to support me. All right, that's one way to do it. All right, I'm going to do the other side. Give my leg a break. All right, so this is the third way you can try. All right, I'm bending into Vira 1. I'm shifting my weight forward to Vira 3. And I have the chair there if I need it. And I'm going to try to reach back and just look down. Crown of the head reaches forward. Then I'm moving back to Vira 1. And finish. All right, so let's try that. And remember how you want to practice. Not with grim determination, no doubt, but a sense of maybe playfulness. All right. So let's step the right foot back. I'm going to move into Virabhadrasana 1 first. Get your hips organized. Bend the front knee. Into Virabhadrasana 1. Be in Vira 1. Now look forward. Shift the weight forward. You want to use the chair seat, it's there. Lift the back leg. Right now, really reach out through the back leg, lift into the Tadasana, the front leg, crown of the head reaches forward, and then lower back into Virabhadrasana 1, and then hands on the waist, step forward. Now step the right foot back, organize your hips, and move into Virabhadrasana 1. Shift the weight forward, use the chair or the blocks, or you can try balancing on the standing leg. And then move back into Virabhadrasana 1. And then hands on the waist and step forward. So now, It's your yoga practice, so decide what you want to try next, or stay with the same thing you just did. Step the left leg back, organize the hips, and bend it. Front leg into Virabhadrasana 1. Now shift the weight forward, the front leg. Slowly lift the other leg as you slowly straighten the front leg. Lengthen the neck. Try to have the hip points facing the floor. Now bend the front leg. Step back to Vira 1. And then step forward. And we'll finish on the other side. So step your right leg back. Organize the hips. Lifting the front body. Don't forget that lift. It'll help you in Vira 3 also. Bending the leg into Virabhadrasana 1. Now shift into Virabhadrasana 3. And then move back to Virabhadrasana 1. Hands on the waist. And step forward. Okay. So let's enjoy wherever we were with that, and move your blocks to the front of your mat. You'll want to move your body wherever you are so that you can step wide apart and have your blocks in front of you. I've got my mats crisscrossed so I don't have to fiddle around. All right, so we're going to go into Prasarada Padottanasana, wide leg forward fold. So step your feet wide apart. Have your blocks where you can reach them. Now, same action we've been doing to open the heart. Elbows back, shoulder blades move in toward the spine, lower abs lift up, and now reach the heart forward, just like we did in Parsvottanasana. Reaching forward, reach, 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 and come to your blocks. You might want to wiggle your feet out a little more. See if you can feel a little pigeon-toed with your feet, so the toes are kind of pointing in, and press down through the outer edges of the feet. All right, so shoulders move back away from the ears toward the waist. Now move the blocks forward to your level of comfort. If it feels good to come off the blocks, fine. But we're lengthening the spine. Keep the hips where they are. And now move the blocks back under your shoulders. And we're going to use them, if we need to support our head. So you can stack your blocks up, and any amount you need. If your head comes all the way down to the mat, then you don't need any support. But if it doesn't, you can use any amount of stacking. You could even use the chair seat with a nice blanket on it. And then you could fold your arms over on the chair. So move into wherever you need to be to support your head. And try to move the skin of the forehead down toward the eyes, not away from it, for a more restful experience. Have the hands back more in line with the feet. Draw your attention to your breathing. Long, smooth inhalations and long, smooth exhalations. Now Come out of the pose, bring your hands under your shoulders. Wiggle your feet heel toe in toward each other. Hands on the waist and slowly stand up. Okay, so now if you have some blankets with you, we're going to do Malasana, which is a really nice way of opening the sitting bones that have been rather compressed in the practice we've been doing with Virabhadrasana 1 and 2. So have a blanket that you can fold under your heels. You may even want to fold it some more. And take your other blanket and just roll it. All right, so we're going to try this in a couple ways. All right, so in Malasana, I think of some of us have been to India and we've seen how people there just sit. They sit, you know, in a crouch position almost just typically during the day, off and on. So, but for some of us who haven't been sitting like that all of our life, we might need a little extra help. So have your feet to start with hip width apart. Have your heels up on the support blanket. Now move the rolled blanket under behind your knees, and we're going to settle down into Malasana. Bring your hands together inside your knees. Now press the knees into the bent elbows, and see how your sitting bones in the back feel like they're coming apart. The sacrum has some space. And now bring your hands down. You can continue to use that blanket if you liked it, or you can try without. Now bring the feet together. You can also come off of the support blanket if you want to try that. Right, hands at the heart, bend the knees, open the knees to allow the elbows to come inside. Now press the knees in strongly into the elbows and let the elbows press back to bring those sitting bones apart. And then come out of the pose, hands down, lift the feet up. And then we'll try it one more time, your choice of ways. I'm going to try it off and I'll probably move back on the blanket. So bending the knees. Yep, I'm going to move it back under. You want to have something for your heels to press into. All right? And now pressing those inner knees strongly. I can feel my sitting bones having a nice space. All right, and now come on back up. All right, and now we're going to use the chair again. So, come on over. So move your chair next to a wall. I should have said you need a wall also. I think many of you have heard me say that BKS Iyengar, one of our great teachers, when asked who his favorite teacher was, his response was the wall. So what we're going to do is use the chair seat for Marichyasana. Right. So lift your leg that's closest to the wall up on the chair seat, be in a nice right angle. Lift the arms up. Now extend up, press into the standing leg in Tadasana. Now turn toward the wall, bringing the left arm outside the right knee, and the back of the palm is against the knee. Now reach behind you with the other hand. Drop the bent knee, hip down any amount. Now as you inhale, stand strongly on that standing leg, reach through the crown of the head, and then on an exhale, turn the ribs any amount. Inhale, lift, and exhale, turn the middle ribs any amount, using the back hand to help you pull around any amount. And then come to face the front, and I'm going to go to the other side now. Lift the wall leg up. Lift both arms up, reach up. Now, drop this hand to that outer knee. Reach behind you. You can try bending the elbow if standing into the standing leg, inhale, lift. Exhale, turn the bottom ribs any amount. See if I'm still on the camera, yes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn the middle ribs any amount. And inhale, lift up. And exhale, turn the upper ribs and shoulders any amount. And then come on back. Try not to overturn the neck. So you want to kind of let the neck, which is part of your spine, just follow whatever turn is happening, just without efforting the neck. All right, lift up, reach up, standing strongly into that standing bottom leg, and then turn. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn the lower ribs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn the middle ribs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. And then once more on this side, other side. Alrighty. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. Inhale, lift. And exhale, revolve. Then inhale, lift up. And exhale, turn any amount more. Very good. All right, and now we're going to use the chair for another nice twist, Bajasana. So come to your chair seat and move your sitting bones so that they're the only thing on the chair. Most of your thighs off the chair. Look down at your feet and have them hip width apart and parallel. All right, so we're going to press down into all four corners of both feet, lift the lower abs, lift the arms, and then lower the arms to the back of the chair. Right, so I'm going to scoot back so you can see my hands. So the front hand is holding the chair this way, the back hand is heel of the hand. Right, I'm going to catch up to you. All right, pressing both feet down firmly, inhale, lift. And then on an exhale, pull with the front hand, push with the back to turn any amount. Now inhale, lift, and exhale, turn. Draw the right front knee back any amount. It's probably scooted out a little bit. Inhale, lift, and exhale, turn. And now come on to the front. We'll swing around to the other side. All right. Feet down firmly, lift up, and lower the hands. Now inhale, lift. Exhale, pull with the front hand, push with the back. Inhale, lift, and exhale, turn any amount. Inhale, lift, and exhale, turn. And we'll do that once more on both sides. Make sure your feet are parallel. Press them down as you lift the arms up, lift the lower abs up. Now lower the hands, and inhale, lift up, and exhale, turn. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Draw this knee back if it's scooted out. Inhale, lift up, and exhale. And then come around, and we'll try one more. And final Bajasana. He was a sage. Very sage and wise to twist the spine. Lift up, lower the hands, inhale, lift, and exhale, turn. Inhale, lift, and exhale. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. And just come around and come to the front of your chair with your sitting bones supported.
Widen your legs and now just drape forward over your, the front body just drapes down toward the floor. And then slowly come up, leaving the head to come up last. And now, thanks to having a chair, we're going to use it for our final Shavasana. So get anything you need to be comfortable in Shavasana. And I'm going to suggest that we use the chair. And we're going to do legs in the chair if this is a comfortable pose for you. Otherwise, you can just do Shavasana in your own way. And those of you who do Viparita Karani, legs up the wall, you can do that too. So, if you're using the chair, just place your legs in the chair so that the whole calf is supported. And then we're going to settle back and find Shavasana. So, take a nice deep breath and then sigh the breath out. Relax the skin of the forehead from the center of the forehead. Let each side melt back over the temples, back over the tops of your ears, and pull somewhere in the back of your skull. Let the brain recede back to the back of the skull. And allow the eyes to settle into the sockets. And turn your gaze inward. Relax the jaw. You might even want to stretch your mouth wide and then let it relax back, so that the lips are touching but almost not touching. And then let go all effort. Slowly bring your attention back to your breathing. Place your left hand on your belly and then your right hand. And just notice the natural movement of your body as you inhale and exhale. And if there's a natural slight pause at the end of your breath, just enjoy dropping into that for its natural length.
Slowly lower your hands to the floor. And as you're ready, bend your knees toward your chest. And move gently to your right side. And then using your left hand to support you, move back into a sitting position, disturbing yourself as little as possible. And we'll meet in prayer position. So let's make an offering of the benefits of our practice, that all beings without exception will move further from fear and closer to love, and that all beings without exception will find their way back to their heart's true home. So let's seal our practice with 3 Ohms together. So take a nice breath. So let's vow the intelligence of the mind to the wisdom and the constancy of the heart. Namaste. Enjoy your practice. Take care of yourselves and stay safe.